Hey now, welcome back to Seahawk Central Sports. Lucas and I are going to discuss some trendy sports topics for the upcoming week. The first topic, let's start off with UNCW men's basketball. The team was picked to finish dead last in the CAA preseason poll, but they have surprised a lot of people with this season's performance. So Lucas, how would you grade Coach Peterson's first season?
I'm going to give him a B+. I'm going to give him a B+. I think with what he was handed, he's done the best he can. Yes, we're 2 games under 500. That's all right, though. We still have 3 games, 3 of our last 4 games at home, 2 of them against opponents that I really honestly think we have a realistic chance of beating. Yeah, every single game, we are undersized. Every single game, no matter who we're playing, we are an undersized team. These aren't his players. He didn't recruit them. He hasn't been coaching them. Tomko he and Tomko have developed a great relationship. Tomko has become his floor general.
Go-to guy.
Yeah, go-to guy. I'm gonna give him a B+. The only reason I'm not gonna give him an A is because I think there were a few games in there that I think it took him a little too long to get his roster figured out and get it figured out what players were playing where. But like I said, he didn't recruit these guys. He hasn't been coaching these guys. It was gonna take him time to get a feel for the team and have the team get a feel for him.
Well, they have clearly exceeded expectations. No one can deny that. I'm going to give them a B-. Right now, they're tied for 7th in the CAA with Georgia State and Delaware going into Tuesday night's game. 6-9 in conference, 12-14 overall. They had a mediocre 4-6 in the month of January. I believe they can make a run in the CAA tournament if all the stars align. And here's what I'm talking about. They played well at VCU, which is where the CAA tournament is being held in Richmond. They lost that game 79-70. They were in it late. That's a possible second-round matchup if VCU is the 2 seed and we are the 7th seed and we win the first round 7-10 matchup, which is very easily done if it's against Northeastern.
I agree. When you start doing that, though, we're still too far away. We still got 4 games left in the season for everybody in the CAA. I think it's a little too far to start playing the seeding game, but I agree. I think it comes down to seeding. I think the higher our seed is, I think the better our chance. I mean, obviously, everybody's going to say that, but I really think if we have the right matchup, I can easily see us winning 2 games, 1 or 2 games. I really do. I mean, I don't think we're going to make a push. I don't think we're going to win it all.
Don't think we're going to win it all.
We don't have the talent. Like you said earlier, though, one thing I really have been impressed this year is there have only been 2 or 3 games that we were really out of it. You know, a couple games we got beat by 12 or 13, but we were in it late and we had chances to win.
How about that game this past weekend?
Yeah, versus Towson. That's a great game.
Oh
that is a great game for these players,
but
for
it was
the future of this
0-14
program.
team.
Yeah, it was. But to come back on the road like that gets your players faith in your coaching staff, and that's huge. When your players start trusting in your coaching staff, down 20 at half, listen to your coaches, do what they tell you to do, play solid basketball, and you'll get back in the game. I'm telling you, that's going to go miles for the future of this team. Miles. All right, so March is less than a month away, which means only one thing. It is almost March Madness tournament time. We've been talking about the CAA here, and last year, the Old Dominion represented the CAA and upset Notre Dame in the first round of the tournament. This year, the CAA is filled with quality teams. But the question is, Ben, how many teams will the CAA put into the dance, and do any have a legitimate shot of making a run?
Well, the tournament this year will have 68 teams instead of 64 teams. The first round will be played on True TV. I don't know if you get that channel, if you know where that is, but I think there's a good chance that we'll have a team in that. Those are going to be at-large teams that make it. The CAA is one of only 2 conferences in the nation that have 3 teams with 20 wins. The other is the Big East. The ACC only has 1 team with 20 wins. Coming into Tuesday night's game, UNC could be Wake Forest and make that 2 teams. However, I think there are 3 teams will make it. I think it will be Old Dominion who will win. I think it will win the conference. George Mason has a big game tonight. VCU is a bubble team. They could make a huge run in the NIT. They won the tournament below the NIT. I think it's called the CBI, the College Basketball Invitational. Yeah. This is getting deep into CAA basketball right here. They won that last year. VCU could make a postseason run.
I agree. I like all 3 of those teams. I think those are 3 quality teams. I think the best chance we have to send 3 teams to the tournament is if one of those teams, specifically George Mason or ODU, wins the tournament. A team that was going to get an at-large bid, if they win the tournament and get an automatic bid, I think that really has a chance to bring 2 more teams in rather than, say, someone coming out of nowhere like a Wilmington or a Hofstra or Drexel, somebody winning it and taking away the spot. You see what I'm saying?
That would have to be VCU. If you look at the conference records, George Mason and ODU are tied at the top at 12-2. Then you, if I'm not mistaken, then you have VCU at 10-4.
10-4, yeah.
And they play George Mason going into Tuesday night's game. You know, a lot of things still have to happen. We have the bracket busters this weekend. Yeah. ODU is playing what is ranked as the top mid-major team in the country, a Cleveland State team that is very formidable at home and on the road. We'll see what happens.
I think a lot of things that people overlook. We're in the heart of ACC country. The CAA is a top 10 conference, and you say that, and you're like, oh, that doesn't sound like that much. Keep in mind, after the 6, BCS conferences, there's a lot of little conferences, and there's about 20, 25 conferences in the country.
USA,
exactly.
Valley.
There's all these, and there's a ton out west. So for us to be a top 10 in the country, that's a great stat, and I think that could really help out, when the seedings come for the tournament.
Absolutely. Sticking with basketball, let's move on to the pro game. And the Charlotte Bobcats are playing some great basketball as of late. Coach Paul Silas handed the Lakers their worst loss of the season this past Monday. How would you rate the Bobcats season at this point, at the midway point?
Well, I think if you had told me their record and their situation and everything that had happened, where they'd be right now, if you had told me that at the beginning of the season, I'd be a little disappointed. You know, they were the 8th seed. I mean, they were the, they were 7th seed last year. You know, a lot of people really had them coming into the year and being strong and maybe even pushing up 6 or a 5 seed. They got off to a slow start. Larry Brown left the program. They brought in Paul Silas. Since then, they're 500. They're playing good basketball. They are in 9th place right now. So if the playoffs were tonight, they would not make the playoffs. But they're only game and a half behind 8th place Indiana. And I'll tell you what, only four games separate the last 3 teams, the 6, the 7, and the 8, and the 9. So only 4 games right there between New York, Philadelphia, Indiana, and
Milwaukee. And Charlotte. Not New York.
Yeah, the Knicks. The Knicks,
they're going to make the playoffs.
Well, of course they are, but I'm saying we're only 4 games behind them.
Okay.
We're only 4 games behind them. So the disparity there is not that much. If they really turn it on this second half of the season, I really think they can do something.
I think the goal right now, Charlotte fans, they shouldn't get too high and mighty right now. Let me tell you something about North Carolina sports teams, professional sports teams. This goes for the Panthers, this goes for the Bobcats, this goes for the Hurricanes. We do best when the media is not talking about us. The Panthers were supposed to go 8-8 the year they went to the Super Bowl. The next year they were picked to win the Super Bowl. They didn't make the playoffs. The Canes, the same way. The Canes win the season after the lockout when nobody's giving the NHL any attention. I think that the reasonable expectational goals for the Bobcats this year are to make the playoffs and to win a playoff game.
Win one.
They were 0-4 against the Magic last year. Steven Jackson is very clutch. If you look at Indiana roster versus Charlotte's roster, I'll take Steven Jackson and Gerald Wallace over Josh McRoberts and Mike Dunleavy.
Just as long as Wallace keeps that swag belt going, baby.
You mean Steven Jackson?
I mean Steven Jackson, as long as he keeps his swag belt on. Swag belt on, man. That was a great game. That was a great game. All right, so the NBA season is halfway done, which means one thing. NBA All-Star Weekend 2011 taking place in Los Angeles. The dunk and three-point contest, highlight All-Star Saturday night. Clippers superstar Blake Griffin is the favorite in the dunk contest, while Boston's Ray Allen is the favorite in the three-point shootout. Who do you think will win these events?
I like both of those guys. It's in LA. You got to go with Blake Griffin. Let me throw out a few nicknames. There are a lot of nicknames out there for Blake Griffin. The media has not found a consensus nickname. So here are the best ones that I've heard. The Blake Show.
Okay.
Gryffindor. That's Michelle Beadle from Sports Nation.
Yeah.
The Auburn Mamba. That's Robert Flores from SportsCenter. And finally, my nickname is the Red Herring.
I just like Sir Dunks a lot. I just think that just sums it up right there. The man is filthy. The man is disgusting. Watch out for JaVale McGee from the Wizards. Hey, I got to give some hometown shout out. I like the Wizards.
Summer league.
All right. He's not a great player. He's not a great player, but he is solid and he can get up and he can dunk. So it'll be good. I'll tell you what though. I love the NBA. Oh, Ray Allen. He's the top
Ray Allen versus Paul Pierce.
He's the top three-point shooting contest guy of all time. I mean, the three-point maker of all time. Nobody in the history of the game has made more three-pointers than Ray Allen. He's going to win it. Okay,
Absolutely.
That's what he's going to do. But I'll tell you what, I love the NBA All-Star Weekend. It is my favorite weekend of all. You got the rookie sophomore game, you got the celebrity game, you got the skills contest with the passing. You love the celebrity game. You know who's playing in the celebrity game? You know who's playing in the celebrity game? Bieber Fever. Bieber Fever's going to get down out there.
I hope he gets clotheslined into the ground.
But I'm saying it's a great weekend. It's definitely better than the NFL weekend. I mean, the Pro Bowl is a joke. The Pro Bowl is a joke. The Pro Bowl is a joke. It's a paid vacation for those guys.
MLB also.
MLB is great. The home run derby is great, and the dunk contest has definitely gone down in recent years because the superstars aren't playing. But it's good to see Blake Griffin back in it.
All right, to one of my favorite sports, NASCAR. This sport's biggest race, Super Bowl in NASCAR, the Daytona 500, is this weekend. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has won the pole. Jeff Gordon starting on the outside in his AARP Drive to End Hunger Chevrolet, both out of the Hendrick Motorsports stable. Who do you got?
I'm going to be watching basketball this weekend, man. I'll just be straight up. I don't really care. I didn't care at the end of the last season. I didn't care when it was the race.
Well,
I
you're
really
from
don't
the North,
care
so
now.
let me just talk about it then. Martin has been leading the pace in practice all week. It really doesn't matter what the make is of your car. Kurt Busch was the only Dodge in last weekend's exhibition Budweiser shootout, and he won the race. It's all about getting a good drafting partner. The way the cars are set up now, with the way the front spoiler and the back spoiler can link up, if you get two cars going, two cars can link up and go 206 miles an hour a lap. That's unheard of before. But the NASCAR, they saw this happen in the Bud shootout, so they made changes to the front spoiler as well as the grid opening.
I've never seen you so excited.
NASCAR is awesome. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in Daytona. Me and my dad are going this weekend. I was growing on NASCAR. I love it. It's the best.
Look, I'm from the north. I never got it. They're talking about, I hear a couple new things about it, though. They're saying it's 4 wide now, 4 wide lanes. What does that mean? What difference does that make in a situation?
Four wide lanes. I mean, you can only go 4 wide down the straightaways, mostly the back straightaway because it is straight. The front straightaway is more of a dog leg, and that could be cause for more of a wreck situation. The new point system is what most people in the mainstream media are talking about, so that the average fan can follow along better. You get 43 points for a win. You get 5 points extra for a win. You get 48 for a win. Then you get 42, 41, 40, 39. Then you go down by 1 point. It's actually not as simple as they'd like it to be.
All right, lastly, let's move on to a real sport, the NFL. Everyone is worried. Everyone is worried about the potential lockout. Everyone, including me. The NFL recently filed a complaint against the NFL Players Association for unfair labor practices. Every NFL fan is wondering, what in the heck is going on, and will the NFL have an agreement before the old collective bargaining agreement runs out on March 4th?
The answer to that question is no. They will not have an agreement by March 3rd. They will have an agreement by September. That's when it really matters. If there are any missed games, then we all lose. This is a millionaires versus billionaires negotiation tactic. Apparently, according to Sports Nation, they're as much as $800 million apart.
Yeah.
Now, we have to find out. The real question is, will greed ruin the new national pastime?
Well, the thing is you're right. They're so far apart here. And the thing is that while both sides want football to be played, the players want it a lot more because the owners still make money next year, whether football happens or not. Off the TV contracts. CBS, ESPN, and NBC, and Fox all have to pay the NFL regardless of games getting played or not. So these guys are still yeah, of course it is, but hey, that's the way the owners set it up. Now look, the biggest thing here is that, in my mind, is that when this collective bargaining agreement runs out on March 3rd, so does the insurance. Any player that is injured in the NFL right now that is receiving physical therapy or receiving rehab, or their kids need to go to the doctor, or their wife, whatever, they're not going to be covered under the insurance. These players need this to get done. A lot of these guys have never, gotten insurance on their own before. They wouldn't know where to go. They wouldn't know where to start.
Well, the Players Association has been telling them to save money for a year now. The NBA is doing the same thing. Yeah. We could have an NBA lockout next year and an MLB lockout in 2012. But here is what the battle will be remembered for. We can't predict the outcome. Predicting the outcome of this is like predicting the outcome of the Daytona 500. We just don't know, or the Super Bowl, or anything else. But the real battle is going to be between the NFLPA head Damari Smith, who was in his first negotiation, versus Roger Goodell, who was paid by the NFL, the commissioner, in his first negotiation. This is not Paul Tagliabue versus...
he just died.
Gene Upshaw.
Upshaw, thank you. There you go. Yeah. So it's not them. I agree with you. It's a bunch of new guys in the game. The thing is like you said, the fans are losing out. All we're doing is hearing extremely rich people argue with kind of rich people, and they're both just arguing, and we're the ones
they're all rich.
And we're the ones putting money in their pockets. We're the ones going to the game. We're the ones exactly. They are figuring out what to do with our money, and it's sad. It's sad.
Well, when the dollar fails, they're not going to have much to squabble about.
Yeah, let's all go put our money into yen. Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. We would like to thank Coach Scaff for stopping by. Also, special thanks to Joe Browning, Dustin Miller, the Communications Studies Department, and my associate producer for the day, Stephen Frasina. We will be back in 2 weeks with more footage, more news, and more great analysis. Have an excellent week. And remember to make it out to the games to support our Seahawks. Last few games of the season. Let's go Seahawks. Sayonara, Seahawks.